Has any movie made you feel mad enough to walk out of the theater?
What? Why y'all looking at me?
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst Hollywood movies of 2013.
What?
For this list, we've picked the least satisfying Hollywood releases of 2013 for our countdown. These are the films that looked like they had potential, but let us down in the end.
Is it hot enough for you now?
Number 10, Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. We all know this story, at least we think we do. Following the recent modernized fairy tale trend, Hansel and Gretel are bounty hunters who, shockingly enough, hunt down witches.
Uh-oh.
That's weird.
That's so weird.
Even with Jeremy Renner and Gemma Arterton as the title ass-kickers, and Famke Janssen as the head witch, this movie fails as a dark comedy, as a horror film, and as an action flick, thanks to its flat characters, ridiculous script, and very tedious plot.
Whatever you do, don't eat the f***ing candy.
Number 9, The Lone Ranger. Before it even came out, it was clear that this movie would be problematic, with Johnny Depp controversially cast as Tonto.
Dead man strike fear into the heart of his enemy.
But that was the least of the issues. Budget problems delayed the project and almost stopped production altogether. And while the finished product tells Tonto's tale of his time with the Lone Ranger, it failed to capture audiences and became one of the year's biggest financial flops.
Could be worse.
Worse. How could this be worse?
This company will not make shit anymore.
Number 8, Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Steve, I heard a lot about you.
Playing someone as iconic as Steve Jobs is a tall order to fill, but the miscast Ashton Kutcher did not deserve to don his turtleneck.
If I do say so myself, it's insanely cool.
The biopic outlines the initial failures and eventual successes of a young man with an idea in Silicon Valley. But the script is so bland that it sounded like an iPhone manual.
Excuse me, just boards. These are state of the art. The logic boards alone are. Nobody's making anything like this. They're what? How dare you?
However, ultimately, Kutcher made no sense as Jobs, and that's hard to get past.
Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
You can join the RIPD.
Number 7, R.I.P.D.
The RIPD.
Rest in Peace Department.
Do you even know anyone who saw this movie?
Gotta get comfortable with the visuals and the smell profile.
Exactly. Despite having 2 great leading men in Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges, the film bombed horribly upon release. The story focuses on Bridges' character as an undead gunslinger from the Wild West who teams up with a young cop to stop evil beings from attacking Earth.
Go back!
Right. The mediocre plot didn't even benefit from the poorly executed action sequences. Number 6, The Host.
What? No, what is he doing? No, stop it. Stop, now. Don't do this. No, no.
There's only so much we can really expect from a movie based on a book written by the author of Twilight. But this one looked a bit better.
No, kiss me like you want to get slapped.
Described as a sci-fi thriller, the movie is centered on a young girl who has an alien injected into her body as she fights for control. Sounds cool enough, but the film fails to pick up on any of the complex themes.
What you're doing is wrong, and you know it.
Instead, it chooses to sound like a 15-year-old girl's diary entry.
So now he believes it too. It doesn't help anyone. Knowing I'm a prisoner in here just hurts them more.
Number 5, The Big Wedding.
You do speak English, don't you?
No, actually I don't.
Oh, I see.
Despite its star-studded cast, there was just so much wrong with this movie. Let's start with the ridiculous plot that has Robert De Niro and Diane Keaton having to pretend to be married in order to appease their adopted son's birth mother at his wedding.
If those two are still married, then what does that make me?
My concubine?
Then there are the often offensive jokes about minorities.
He just graduated from Harvard.
Him and half of China.
Or how about the awful sex jokes that sound like a 13-year-old wrote them? It's just all bad.
At least no one will ever forget it.
Number 4, A Good Day to Die Hard.
Dad?
We were pretty much always in the mood for another movie in this acclaimed franchise. But then we saw this one and changed our minds.
Do you think I understand a word you're saying?
This installment is a very, very distant cousin of the original action-packed film. John McClane travels to Russia to rescue his son, only to find out he's a CIA agent.
This is it? You're a spy? Oh my God. 007 of Plainfield, New Jersey.
The plot sounds okay, but there's no on-screen magic and everything falls flat in a major way.
One, two.
Will you poop on me?
Number 3, Movie 43.
Hello, Jen.
Hello, Mrs. Miller. I'm the pretty girl.
Whoever pitched this movie deserves an award for being the world's greatest salesman.
Now, do you want to hear the rest of my pitch?
Essentially, the flick attempts to tell an incomprehensible story about an insane screenwriter who's pitching horrible stories. And those pitches happen to be acted out by some of Hollywood's finest actors.
Oh, you've, got something on your...
Oh, something on my neck? Leave it to me to embarrass myself on a first date. Oh.
Somehow, even with all that star power, the jokes are always on the wrong side of offensive, gross, and disturbing.
Dude, you have so much poop on you right now.
Number 2, After Earth.
Every single decision you make will be life or death.
Will Smith is trying desperately to convince us that Jaden is poised to take his spot as a box office champ, and nobody's buying it.
What was I supposed to do? What did you want me to do?
There's nothing interesting about this space drama as the two men try to find their way back home. In fact, for most of the movie, it's hard to get past Jaden's bad attitude and lack of character development.
No, Dad. I can do it.
This did nothing to help M. Night Shyamalan's ailing directorial career.
I'm not a coward. You're the coward. I'm not a coward.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions.
All hail the great and powerful guy.
You have no idea.
I'm not afraid of you.
You should be.
I can't stop loving you.
They always say that when they're saying goodbye.
I'm not saying goodbye.
Except Charles, I'll give him that.
Don't bring him into it.
Why not? We belong with him now.
Oh, hold up. Hang on, I got a burp snort coming.
Number 1, Grown Ups 2.
Summertime.
In his heyday, Adam Sandler gave us plenty of hilarious characters, and that's why, even after some huge disappointments, we're generally willing to give him a chance. But then he comes out with something like this, and we wonder why. While the original wasn't the best, it still had its moments and the relationships felt real. This time around, the jokes fell flat on delivery and everything seemed lazy and really half-assed.
Hey Malcolm, is that the knife the Indians used to half scalp you with?
I don't even get that. What?
We beg you, try harder, Adam.
Your dad's also a genius.
Do you agree with our list?
How am I supposed to answer that?
What movies do you think were the worst of 2013? For more honest top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Ta-da!